We've all seen the commercials before, flame broiled cow flesh on the grill. How about some gooey cow secretions on chemically laden bread and some tomato sauce with whichever other toppings you would desire, maybe some other animal flesh as well too. Some people call this pizza, I believe. How about some chicken periods splattered across the grill, and why not add some cow flesh as well too, just so that you could take it to the next level. No worries, I'm not judging. I too used to eat this rubbish too, until I realized how horrific it was for my health, and pretty much how horrific it was for just human consumption in general, and just the sheer insane amount of cruelty behind all of it. These are all animals or parts of animals that we have deemed to be food due to the tastiness of the food when mixed with certain seasonings. The traditional beliefs that are very hard to let go of, that apparently we use to get to where we're at today, and of course the huge amount of deceitful misinformation funded by these huge industries and the professors that go along with this bogus research, who apparently have some type of financial interest in these industries as well too, in one form or another. In this video, I'm going to show you how the beef, dairy, and egg industries use their funded studies to make their products, or rather, it's not really their products, but the parts of animals or the secretions of animals that they stole, look healthy for human consumption. We'll start with the beef industry. If we look at this study titled Beef in an Optimal Lean Diet Study, Effect on Lipids, Lipoproteins, and Apolipoproteins, we see there were 36 participants, all of which had high LDL cholesterol levels. The point of the study was to prove that low saturated fatty acid diets that contain lean meats or lean animal flesh can be part of a heart healthy diet. Why hasn't the word beef been outlawed to be used within the same sentence that contains the words heart healthy? Can anyone expound on that for me? Anyone? Because, beef, heart healthy, nah. I guess because we have studies like this that are funded by the Beef Checkoff program to support their bias that don't really prove anything. And if you know anything about nutrition, any little bit at least, you will kind of have an idea of what is considered to be heart healthy. Typically, a heart healthy eating pattern would be a diet that consists of minimal amounts of trans fats, saturated fats, and zero cholesterol, because the human body produces all the cholesterol it needs, and mainly because these substances raise serum cholesterol levels, in particular LDL cholesterol, and elevated cholesterol levels is what causes atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is what causes heart disease and brain diseases like strokes and a slew of other issues like back pain and limp dicks. Personally, if you ask me, I ain't gonna suffer from no fucking limp dick for some shitty food that I'm not supposed to be eating. I don't know about you. Ain't happening with me. Nah. So to give you an overview of the study, the participants of this study were put on 4 different diets. One of those diets was labeled the beef in an optimal lean diet plus additional protein, short for the Bold Plus diet. The participants consumed a total of 153 grams of lean beef, or about 5.4 ounces of lean beef a day, for about 5 weeks, and they actually saw an improvement in cholesterol levels, which is just amazing. Would you just look at that? But it really isn't something amazing. This is a common tactic the meat, dairy, and egg industries use, and in this case, the researchers acquired participants that were already sick with high cholesterol levels, and were able to slightly improve their cholesterol levels by essentially feeding the participants less saturated fat and less dietary cholesterol than what they were normally eating in their daily lives. Even though the participants had an improvement in cholesterol levels, they actually were still sick with high levels of cholesterol after following the Bold Plus diet, as their serum LDL cholesterol levels were at 3.5 0.23 millimoles per liter, or just under 125 milligrams per deciliter, which is almost double the amount of what is considered to be optimal levels of LDL cholesterol levels, which is below 70 milligrams per deciliter. I am so tired of showing this damn study behind me. But no worries, the researchers of this study state here that lean beef can be included in a heart-healthy diet that meets current dietary recommendations that reduces cardiovascular disease risk. Well, I guess all you lean meat eaters can rest easy with your 5.3 ounces of dead cow flesh, knowing that you're still at risk of high cholesterol, and potentially dying of a heart attack or a stroke or, having a limp dick, whatever. I mean, I guess you'll be okay because the beef checkoff program has got your back. Perfecto. Yes. Trucking along here, let's see how the dairy industry deceives the public to push their agenda. Looking at this study titled Meta-Analysis of Prospective Cohort Studies Evaluating the Association of Saturated Fat with Cardiovascular Disease, the researchers deemed there is no significant evidence for concluding that dietary saturated fat is associated with an increased risk of coronary heart disease or cardiovascular disease based on epidemiological studies. This is a study that was funded by the National Dairy Council, and the study was completed by Ronald M. Krauss and a few other colleagues. Mr. Ronald M. Krauss himself has been paid by the dairy and egg industries before, though I guess there's no need to knock the man for making a few dollars, even if this old fart behind me is completely unethical in his practices and what he's supporting. But either way, when we look at the study, we know that this is an epidemiological study that will show zero correlation due to the cholesterol levels not being accounted for at baseline, which will undermine the actual results of consuming an excess amount of saturated fat and the effects it has on serum cholesterol levels. This was proven in the 70s, and Ronald M. Krauss knows better to pull a stunt like this, but he probably can care less because he's in the pockets of the dairy industry, and hustlers need to hustle when millions of dollars are at stake and millions of humans' lives are in the balance, or even the lives of millions of sentient beings. Sleep well, Ron, with your bullshit study that has been debunked God knows how many times, and maybe consider shoving your little study and any other industry-funded venture up your corrupt fat ass, as I honestly think you might like the sensation of being plowed. One would say that's just my well-assumed hypothesis, but who the hell am I and what do I know? Let's move forward. Next. And lastly, let's see how the egg industry attempts to deceive the public. By looking at this study titled Dietary Cholesterol and Cardiovascular Disease, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis, that was provided to me from a Christopher Walker nut hugger. Very strong professor there. Make sure to check out the Professor of the Month series I have, the playlist provided by yours truly, so that you're aware of these special people, as their tactics are very ridiculous to say the least. Not just to necessarily humans, but the other sentient beings they knowingly harm. But I digress. Moving on to the study. If you read the study or even look at the abstract of the study, you will see that it states increases in LDL cholesterol were no longer statistically significant when intervention doses exceeded 900 milligrams per day. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Consumption of 900 milligrams a day of dietary cholesterol is equivalent to consuming about 2.5 gallons of milk a day, which is absurd to even think about. But either way, the reason why you're not going to see someone's cholesterol levels or someone's serum cholesterol levels significantly change is because 900 milligrams of dietary cholesterol in a day alone is going to skyrocket someone's cholesterol if they're not already high, and consuming much more than that is not going to absurdly impact someone's serum cholesterol levels because their cholesterol levels are already high, and that was proven in this study. But what else do you expect from the American Egg Board, who funded this piece of junk study? They're selling probably the most potent source of cholesterol-laden foods that exist on the planet. The secretions that come out of a chicken's vagina/asshole. Yummy, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. So that's about it, my peeps. Just wanted to give you a few examples of how the meat, dairy, and egg industries try to use science to confuse the masses, to give off a vibe that makes one feel as if they don't have to worry, as if the beef and dairy and egg industry have got your best interest at heart, when nothing could be further from the truth. And also, let me wrap up by just letting you know that these bullshit studies are everywhere. I mean, the meat, dairy, and egg industries are trillion-dollar businesses, or at least combined, they're trillion-dollar businesses that are unfortunately built on the backs of sentient beings that don't deserve this type of treatment, and there's science to back this up. The level of exploitation that is currently going on is just not necessary, and to the contrary, it's deleterious to human health for us to consume these animals or what these animals secrete. It's horrific for the planet, and it's horrific to the animals. So let's just take the loss on this one. Let's learn from our mistakes. Let's just move forward, please. So there you go. I hope you got something out of this video. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the ding dong button if you haven't already. Please share your thoughts down below. As you know, I love to engage with all of you. You know, I appreciate every single one of you. I'm the Natural Hulkster. I want to thank you for watching. And please stay tuned for the next one.